Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com right now, and I just got done going through several tactics trainer puzzles, and I'd like to share 3 of them with you. So, as usual, with this type of video, feel free to treat it as a mini pop quiz. I'll go through the answers and offer some brief tips along the way. So in this first one, white to move, feel free to pause the video and see if you can find the best continuation. All right. Solution to this first one is to play rook to g8. We have to be very direct, and you should be able to come up with that, knowing that given a move, black will have some threats of his own. Rook b4, king a1, and then bishop to b2, bishop a3. Black will at the very least have a perpetual check. We need to be direct. In fact, this is a mate in 5 puzzle. The correct first move, as mentioned, is rook g8. Let me just squash one other checking move. Knight f7 does not work because after rook takes knight, rook g8, the only check in the position. After king h7, there simply isn't a good follow-up check. Both rook checks on g7 are covered by the rook, as well as the knight check on f6. And the only other move, knight g5, well, that cuts off the communication between both rooks. King takes rook, and black will go on to win. So the correct solution here is to first start with rook g8. And now there are 2 options. On rook takes rook, we would have a mate in 2. Very nice mate. Knight f7. And knight on f6 is checkmate. And the other variation is at this point after rook g8, and this is really the main one that needed to be calculated. King h7, rook 1 to g7, inviting a new piece into the attack. This forces king takes knight, and now we need to get the knight working. And he's on an opposite color of the king, but we can force the king to a light square in this case with rook g6. And now no matter where the king goes, the knight will be able to deliver a check next. King h7, knight g5 is mate. And lastly, king takes pawn is met with knight g3, king h4, and now rook on g6 to h6 for mate. So I thought that one was a cool sequence there. Let's have a look at another one in endgame 1. This one right here, where we are now playing as Team Black. Once more, if you'd like to, go ahead, pause the video, see if you can find the best continuation. Okay. Solution here is to capture the rook, and after rook takes rook, to deliver another check. So both moves here, first a capture and now a check. Very direct stuff. It does not end there. After king d2, we now have the key idea, and that is to play c3. What is this doing? It's of course giving check, and it's also creating some more tension with the queenside pawns. Now, what this is going to result in is a passed pawn. Whether white likes it or not, this is going to happen. On a king move, we would have pawn takes pawn, and black will soon promote. And on pawn takes pawn, we don't recapture on c3, but instead capture on a3. So what is white to do here? Well, there's one last little trick now for Team White, and that is to give this check. And the last important note of this puzzle is to know what square you go to with your king. The correct move is to play to f8, and there will now be no way for white to stop the a pawn. He's just not going to be there in time. Well, he could sacrifice himself for the queen, but the rook is of course there watching over a1. What is the issue with black going to the corner? Do know that now black is in some hot water, just a moment away now from getting mated. As soon as the rook moves, there is now not time to advance this pawn because you'd be getting checkmated. So that was the key idea, and really the important tip here with this particular endgame, well, regarding the pawns really, is that when you create this type of tension, black can force through a passed pawn when this h6 move is played. So if you just kind of ignore everything on this puzzle right here except for just the pawns, when a3 is played, black can force through a passed pawn with this right here. Again, assuming there's no other pieces here. No matter what white does in reply to c3, capturing like this, we saw there's this recapture, black has a passed pawn, a push, we just capture. What other sequences are there? A capture here results in this type of capture, once more a passed pawn. So to be very delicate, maybe a better move here to make sure there isn't that kind of passed pawn being created on the black end. You could stop things cold by advancing the b3 pawn. I'm not in any way saying that this is the best move, but that's a good way to kind of prevent any type of passed pawn from being created. You advance that middle pawn where it has support of both white pawns. Anyhow, just a little endgame tip there regarding the pawns. a3, as it turns out, is a very bad move, and it hit forcefully. c3 coming in with check. Okay, one last one. This one right here, playing as team white. If you'd like to, go ahead, pause the video, see if you can find the best continuation. Okay. I really like this one. Those of you that spent some time trying to work this one out, I hope you got it, because it's one that makes you feel good. We have let's just say it like this. Aside from the king and both queenside pawns, every other white piece is involved in this checkmate in 8. You ready for this one? Every piece, every pawn plays a role aside from the queenside pawns and the king in this one. It's pretty cool to see this one in action. Here we go. Queen takes knight. This is the only win. You need to eliminate that knight. Why? If you try something else, like a bishop check or a queen check, there is a knight block on f7. So the key idea here is to first eliminate that potential block on f7. Rook takes queen is best. If the king is just running out, now we could give a check, and we'll be giving mate soon enough. Rook block, bishop takes for mate. Okay, of course we take the queen in this position after queen takes knight. But now what is the follow-up? Well, now we give the check with the bishop. There are only moves like rook to d5 and rook to e6. Might as well just put them on the board, delaying what is soon to be a checkmate in 8. King in the corner. What is now the key idea? Well, knight g6. Pawn takes knight. Pawn takes pawn, discover check. This knight can now block, but we capture him because in the end, after pawn takes bishop, we now have a fantastic finish. Both bishops and this little pawn on g6 delivering checkmate. I guess in the end I misspoke a little bit. I guess this pawn on g3 doesn't really play a role either. But yeah, every piece aside from the king is involved in this checkmate in 8. One that's worth having a look at once more. Queen sack, bishop check. Well, yeah, aside from the rook blocks, we just dive right in there. Knight g6, pawn takes, knight block, we just take, and double bishops. Bishops working on adjacent diagonals. Very valuable, very deadly, as we see here. Okay, well, as usual, feel free to share how you did with these three. I found them interesting. I hope you did as well. Feel free to leave any feedback in the comment section below, and I will catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.